Hey Josh.
Man.
Hey.
Can I borrow one of these knives?
What are you going to use it for?
Oh, I just got to break down some cardboard.
No, you can't use any of these knives for that.
Are they not sharp?
Oh, they're sharp.
Why can't I use them?
Because they're not for cardboard.
Why do you have the knife if you can't use it?
I use it. It's not for cardboard. It's
okay. Whatever, man.
He doesn't get it.
Okay, now can I borrow one of your knives?
Is it for the envelope?
Yeah, I just need to open my mail.
All right.
Cool. Thanks.
No, not that one. Sorry.
What? Why?
Just try another one. You know what? Here, just use this. Just use that one.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. What's the difference?
These are Grail Knives, if you haven't noticed. They're beautiful pieces of art and custom cutlery that I don't want used on petty things.
This literally looks exactly like that one and that one.
Oh, Josh, you don't understand. You don't get it, man. They're not the same at all.
What are you even doing with them?
Well, I'm keeping them clean. I'm keeping them highly honed and polished. And then when my buddies want to see them, I get them out and play with them. I might let them open a letter, but probably not.
That's cool life, bro.
I love it.
All right, carry on.
See you, Josh. Now you're up. All right, guys, this week, obviously, we're talking about those Grail knives, the knives that you love and cherish, and you don't want to see anything bad happen to them. It could be, your reasons could be because it's a expensive knife that you've got a lot of investment in and you just want to keep it in that like new condition. Maybe it's a family heirloom that you just want to keep and maintain in the condition that it was passed on to you in. Maybe it's even something that's custom, that was made specifically for you. There's a lot of reasons to have a Grail knife, and you shouldn't be afraid to hand it to your buddy to let him use it because you're afraid it's going to get dull. You should be able to use these knives, and we're going to show you how to maintain that edge and even sharpen it to keep it in that like new condition. When it comes to sharpening our Grail knife, we're going to want to put in some preparation to make sure that we're protecting the knife as best we can when we go to address that bevel. So things you're going to want to have on hand is some masking tape that you can use to protect the blade face, maybe even the scales. You'll want a brush just for cleaning off in between the scales of the knife and also the sharpener itself so that you've got a clean work surface. You'll probably want a knife tool. We've got the micro here that we'll be using to address thumb studs that might be in the way. But most of all, we're just looking to have a clean workstation before we get started. So the first thing we're going to want to do is address the anatomy of our knife. We're going to want to understand what parts of the knife might come into contact with that abrasive and protect the knife from that. So we're going to be looking at things like the thumb studs. How far do they stick out? Do we need to remove them, or do we want to just remove them just to be on the safe side? The bolster of the knife, or if you've got scales that come all the way up to the blade face, are you going to need to protect that with some masking tape? Also, what level of sharpness do you have going into it? Does it just need to be honed or hit with a ceramic, or do we actually need to sharpen this knife? So get a good look at your knife. Look for those little points to make sure that you're not going to do any harm to your knife before you go in and start doing any sharpening. One of the biggest concerns people have when it comes to sharpening a Grail knife or a knife that they care a lot about is their blade face coming in contact with a guide or anything really that could scratch or mar that blade. That's where the masking tape comes in. It'll go over the blade face and protect it. So guides really shouldn't be an issue if you're using that masking tape. That being said, let's take a look at a few of the sharpening options that we would recommend for your Grail knives. One of the most popular is going to be a whetstone. The nice thing about the whetstone is you can use the guides if you want to use tape on it, or you can do it freehand, where you're just going to come into contact with that stone on the bevel only and work it across. The nice thing about the whetstone is it removes a minimal amount of material, so you don't have to get too intimidated by removing a lot of material quickly on your nice knife, and you can work slowly and get the edge that you want. One of the challenges with the whetstone is that it does remove very little material. So it takes a skilled hand and a consistent movement to get the result that you're looking for. If that's an intimidating factor for you, you're probably going to want to look at something with a little bit more of an aggressive abrasive so that you can see the results that you're getting on that knife sooner. If you do want something with a little more cutting power, you're going to want something like our bench stone or the angle set. The nice thing about both of these sharpeners is they incorporate a diamond plate abrasive, which is going to get that burr raised sooner and let you see what it is that you're doing to the bevel of that knife quicker. Another nice feature with these is the guides are optional. So if you are intimidated by using the guides on your knife, you can remove them, and the guide is built in to the angle set as well. With both these systems, there's no other moving parts, which is nice because that way you have full control over the outcome of your knife when you're done sharpening. Another popular choice when it comes to taking care of your Grail knives is a fixed angle sharpening system, similar to a wicked edge, or what's been really popular out there lately is our new precision adjust. The great thing about the precision adjust is you're going to get a consistent angle every time. One thing to note, you're going to want to put some masking tape on that blade face when using this clamp. The clamp does have a soft surface on it, but just to be sure, it'd probably be a good idea to go ahead and throw that masking tape on before you clamp the knife down. Advantages with this system: consistent angle. You're going to be able to set this from anywhere between 15 to 30 degrees, and finding that angle is a lot easier with this system as well. As you start to remove material with the abrasive, you can use the Sharpie trick where you draw along the bevel, just the bevel itself, and then as you start to remove that material, you'll notice whether or not you're coming in too shallow or too deep on that bevel and can adjust accordingly to recreate that factory profile edge. An interesting note when it comes to those factory profiles, a lot of the times they're sharpened on a belt similar to our Ken Onion Elite over here. So you've got human interface on that edge that's creating a different bevel on each side sometimes. Take your knives out, look at them right out of the factory, right from the factory. You're going to notice a lot of the times an uneven grind on that. And a lot of the times that's because they're sharpening by hand. So using a system like this might even get you better results. Another sharpener to consider, and one that I'll put a bit of a disclaimer on, is going to be our Elite sharpener. The reason I put the disclaimer on is it's a powered sharpener, and you're using a Grail knife. You're going to want to be careful. You're going to want to have some experience with this sharpener. You don't want your Grail knife to be the first knife you sharpen on this system. You're going to want to use a low speed and a finer abrasive, depending on the condition of your blade. Typically, your Grail knives aren't going to be that dull, so a medium abrasive at the most is going to do the trick. And then you can work all the way down to a cloth with a compound on it that's going to give you that mirror polish finish. One of the biggest advantages to using a powered system there. For me today, I'm going to be sharpening this Birdviz knife. Great knife. I love this one, but it does need a little bit of attention. I already know that it's a 17-degree angle on this knife, but to sharpen this knife, I'm going to use our angle set. The advantages there: no guides, and easy to get to that 17-degree angle with this sharpener as well. All right, just to be safe, I'm going to go ahead and put some masking tape along both sides of the blade face, and I'm going to protect these scales as well. I'll show you how to do that real quick here. Okay, I think I've got it pretty good here. Now that I got this knife taped up and protected, I'm going to get to work on sharpening. I'm going to be using the angle set. If you want a full detailed video on how to use this system, there will be a link right up above me here. But the reason I'm using it is it's something I'm comfortable with, and it's easy to use when it comes to sharpening on something that I really care about. So let's get into it. Some general sharpening principles to remember. If you need to sharpen and not just hone, you're going to need to raise a burr. So we'll start with that, where I'm going to do several strokes on one side of the knife until I raise that burr, and then I'll repeat that same number of strokes on the other side. Remember to stop with the tip of the knife still in contact with the abrasive, and then you're going to run your finger across the bevel of the knife to feel for that burr. Looks like I've got some towards the heel of the knife, but I need to do a little more work out towards the front. Perfect. Now I'll get started on the other side. Now we'll move down to honing. The tri-abrasive makes that really convenient. You just rotate these rods, get them to a position that you're comfortable with, and progress. Now as I start to hone, I'm going to alternate strokes rather than do one rather than just sharpening one side at a time. I'll alternate to create that fine edge that I'm looking for. Feels like this knife's about there. A few things to remember when you're sharpening your Grail knife. Take your time. We're not in a rush with this. So go slow, consistent strokes. Treat this thing like your baby. This might be the most time you spend with it in a while. So enjoy the experience and take your time. Now I'm ready to get this tape off. I'm gonna do some finishing touches on a strop and then we'll test to see how sharp it turned out. All right, so I've got my leather strop out, and this step here is really what's gonna take my Grail knife to that next level. What I'm going to do is do a reverse stroke across this and try and match that angle that I sharpened it to. Take your time. Again, you don't want to rush this process. This is a labor of love with the knife that you care about. All right, guys, let's see how we did here. Moment of truth. That'll work. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you learned something about taking care of those Grail knives that you love so much. Don't be afraid to get in there and sharpen them, and don't be afraid to hand them to your buddy so you can open that letter, but not the box. We're curious what your Grail knife might be. What knife do you have your eye on? Or maybe it's a knife that you know and love already. Leave that in the comments below. We love getting in there, seeing what you guys think. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.